Hi, I'm Scott Campbell with Solve 3D.
And I'm Kevin Miller at Solve 3D.
Kevin, why don't we give folks an overview on how to look at projects within Encompass? And I see we've got a link here, so why don't we just click on it and go right on in and look at the project?
Right. So as a user, you may receive a link like I'm showing here on the screen. This link has you can see it's an Encompass link because of the URL encompass.solve.com, but it may be a different URL depending where you have Encompass installed. And then there's some additional parameters on the link that control where in the project and what project that you might be looking at. So to view it, all you have to do is click on it, and this will open the link in your default browser. Give it a second here.
There we go.
So what am I looking at here? Well, so we're jumped in right into an Encompass project. This is you have some panoramic imagery, you have some point cloud data, you have some CAD drawings or some feature extraction that's been done, that's been loaded in, and it's all contained in one single view. If you don't like how the view looks, or you want to change maybe how it looks or the different colors, you can quickly go up to the settings in the top right, or you can access settings in the left-hand side. Once you do that, that'll open a little window on the right-hand side. This is where you can start controlling all the different types of visualization settings within Encompass.
And this
So
is
we'll
where you
start.
control the point cloud, right? Because that's one of the things that I have trouble with. Sometimes the point cloud is too big and it blocks out everything, and sometimes I can't see the point cloud. So this is where you adjust for the point cloud.
That's correct. Yeah. So we'll start with the point cloud controls. The first one here being point visibility. I can, crank it up, see more of the point cloud, or if I don't want to see it at all, I can turn it straight down. Additionally, if I turn it back up, I can control things like how far away to draw. So you can see in the distance here down the road, there's some points way down here. But if I turn it down to, say, 33 meters, you can only see stuff that's 33 meters away. I can also change things like the point cloud size of points. So each point here you can see is at 2 pixels, but I can crank it way up, or I can turn it way down as well, depending what I'd like to see. Additionally, dynamic point sizing allows you to, it basically tells the app to be smart on how to draw those points. So areas where, maybe it's not as dense. So maybe along this light pole, you see these points are much smaller. But if I turn that off, they'll be more uniform across the app, or dynamic based off of how many points are in a certain area.
So that's probably a setting we'd recommend most people to leave on.
Yeah, I find that in most projects, leaving it on, everything looks better overall. So,
Yeah.
same with the setting around EDL shading. This is stands for eye dome lighting. Around each one of these points, you may notice a really thin black border. If you look at this stop sign here, if I turn off EDL shading, you can see it kind of all blends in. So it's really hard to tell that kind of depth or contrast between certain points. So I also recommend probably leaving this one on, depending on your use case. Additionally, you can control things like different color modes. So I have it on distance right here, but you might want to change it to height, or maybe you care about intensity, or if your point cloud has intensity values. And additionally, there's some extra sliders here where I can turn off and fine tune how that intensity range is applied across the point cloud. If your point cloud is colorized, you can also view it in color mode. So it'll be mapped based off the images that colored it to begin with. Additionally, if you want to view by classification, if your point cloud's classified, in this case I have ground and not ground, you can turn on the classification color mode, and you can start using this classification section to toggle on and off different classifications. So I can, for example, turn off the not ground, or vice versa, turn off the ground, or both if I'd like.
And if you've got, say, 8 classifications in the point cloud, they would all show up here, right?
That's correct. Yeah, you would see vegetation,
Yeah, all that
all
stuff.
those other classifications based off the ASPRS standards. Additionally, there's also an aerial view in the top left of the screen. You can navigate between, you can switch those views. So if you want to toggle between them, you see my 3D view went up to the top left now, and the aerial view is here in the main window. I can still scroll in and out and view this, but you know, you can see the point cloud, or sorry, the 3D models that were loaded and any aerial imagery that might have been loaded. And additionally, you can also toggle that on and off if you don't want to see it for some reason. You're taking a screenshot or something, you might want to toggle those on and off. So you have flexibility there. As well as kind of the point cloud settings and the picture settings. I mean, there's a lot of settings for controlling image brightness and contrast. So say you're on a cloudy day like these pictures, you might want to customize those. Or the asset draw distance is kind of useful when you're saying, say, these tags that I see, these little red pins. Maybe there's too many of them in my scene and I want to turn them down. I can always say only render ones that are like, you know, 2 meters away or 10 meters away. So, you know, you have full control over what is visible and what's not. Additionally, if you want to toggle on and off different base maps within your aerial view, we do supply a few different ones in the layers tab. So if you expand layers on the left-hand side, you can now toggle on and off your point cloud like before. Turn it on and off, and you see in the mini window there. Or I can change my aerial base map, so say switch to an OpenStreetMap or back to the default Esri ArcGIS world map. Additionally, if you want to toggle on and off your file sources, you can do that as well. So file sources being CAD models or DXF files, KMLs, shape files, things like that. So I can, if I just zoom in here to this road here and turn down my point cloud, I can quickly toggle on and off these layers just by clicking the checkbox.
Yeah, and that's a great example of where you may need to adjust. Like if you want to see how the CAD drawings line up with the photo, for example, you turn down your point cloud. Or if you wanted to see how the drawings line up with your point cloud, you turn up the point cloud. So that's a really good example of where you might need to adjust what you're looking at.
That's correct. I think that's it for this video. So in the next video, we'll cover moving around.
Thanks, Kevin.
No problem.